full race coverage at the Daytona International Speedway, as we have yet another race on this season to try to get Dave Blaney a championship. Coming off our 11th win of the year, which took place yesterday at Infineon, a wild 21 caution race, or I guess if you call it a race. We really only had a green flag run at the longest of 12 laps in that race. Had another one around 7-8 laps. Other than that, there's a lot of 1, 2, 3 lap runs. We catch a caution. We're not going to see 21 cautions here today. I guess you never know until it actually ends up being the case, but I highly doubt we'll see anything like that again the rest of the season. Maybe Watkins Glen, we have another kind of wreck fest, I guess, but just because that's another road course, that still mind boggles me, and we're only about 24 hours later. As far as tonight's race goes, of course, running the full race as usual, 400 miles, 160 laps. And we will be starting at the tail end of the field tonight. No practice, no qualifying. The Daytona 500 earlier this season actually finished in the 25th place position. Ran pretty well. We led 70 laps. Yep, 70 laps. Led Elliott Sadler, won that race. And that 25th place finish is actually the worst finish I've had so far this season. We were battling for the win on the final lap in turns 3 and 4. Got up against the wall, slid down the track, got in the big one essentially, and did not make it back to the flag. So that is how we ended up getting the 25th place finish in that race. Bentley Potts, Wade, Billy Kramer, Michael Turner, and others, welcome into the stream. Let's get this thing underway. I don't know what's going on back there. All right. Dog was barking. I don't know if you guys can hear that on the mic or not. Green flag is in the air, though. We are racing here in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. Jeff Gordon in the 24 car is the pole sitter. And with starting at the back of the field, we really need to make sure that we get somebody in line behind us so we don't lose the draft. Kind of bump drafted Kyle Petty as we were getting up to speed. I think this 22 car is going to have decent speed in it, considering how well I remembered running in the Daytona 500 way back when at the start of the season. Yeah, our only DNF of the year was that Daytona 500, but we ended up 25th, not because we were last of those that finished, but because we were last of those that finished on the lead lap. I guess, even though I technically didn't finish, again, we were last of those on the lead lap, as that took place on the white flag lap. Got to be smarter here in this one today. And we already got problems. Big dive to the... Well, as I... I like how I say that, I gotta be smarter. And then, like, not even 2 seconds later, I go spinning on the apron. I was just trying to gun it down into turn 1. There was like 7 or 8 cars that stacked up on the front stretch, and I thought I could get them all, and go figure, I couldn't. Caution's out, lap 2, our first yellow of the day. That didn't take long. What are the odds of that? It was like as I was mid-sentence. It wasn't even mid-sentence. It was like I said, less than 2 seconds after I said it. Well, we can't pit for fuel or tires here. That has to be... I don't know what's funnier, that or the 21 cautions we had last night. I mean, that was peak comedy right there. In real time. Can't use the apron. I honestly thought I could just kind of slide up in front of him. Clearly not. Apparently that was never going to work. At least I know that going forward. I did back out of the gas before I went down to the apron, knowing that I was going to run out of asphalt on the traditional racing line to make that move. All right, green flag back in the air, lap 6. Let's try this again. Single file restart this go around. Still got to try to find a way to get somebody behind us. Jeff Gordon still out in the lead. And I didn't run into the back of anybody there, but this is not good. Having this rough of a start. That was actually a worse restart than I had before. Couldn't change tires because we caused the incident, which might have been a little bit more of a stack up on this restart as a result of that. Michael Waltrip going to get to the lead off turn 4 after Gordon was credited with leading the first 5 or 6 laps. Now we've got smoke on the front stretch. I can't see a thing. We've got a huge stack up. We're going to try to take advantage of this again. I get a second chance at it. I can't go to the apron because Michael Waltrip is down there. Oh, man, I didn't see him to the last second. That happened at the very front of the field then because he was in the lead, or at least battling for the lead, with Jeff Gordon. I was going to go to the apron, but the 55 car was there. Still a lot of 2 and 3 wide racing just up in front of us, and at least allows us to keep up with the back of the draft. Still nobody on the back bumper of this 22 car. Got to get somebody behind us so we don't lose these guys again. We should be quick in the draft just because I was quick here in the spring. A little bit of contact at 142, 40 of David Stremme. It's hard to be patient when you're just in a log jam of traffic back in the pack at Daytona. The patient thing is to kind of sit out of the draft further behind everybody, but the problem with that is we're never going to get up there if we do this. Especially in this time period of NASCAR when we're not guaranteed any yellows. Luckily, when I spun down on the bottom of the racetrack, I didn't really hit anything. So there's no damage on the car. Serious damage, at least. 3 wide middle on turn 4. Stack up, nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. 147 goes sliding down to the bottom of the racetrack. My goodness. We have seen so many stack-ups off of turn 4 already, and there's quite a bit of damage, I think, on the nose of this car, because I hit that guy pretty hard. I think he ended up down in the pits on the front stretch, because he is very slow all of a sudden. And now Vickers gets into the left here. What a wild start here at Daytona. I can't get out of this. Oh my gosh. Help! Whatever speed I could have had in the car, I don't know how much of it I have left. We might have just wrecked all the speed out of it already. I don't think Waltrip got credited with leading a lap then when he was down on the apron, so I think Jeff Gordon's led all of the 9 laps so far. We've broken away from a lot of cars behind us. I can't even really go into words as far as what all we've seen so far because we've seen so much. Why my Dave Blaney? He never won a cup race. Hey, that's my guy, all right? I have to rub it in. No, I'm a Ryan Blaney fan, so I figured, you know, one of these older classic game through seasons, I was going to use Dave Blaney. I just so happened to use this because I think this is probably the best equipment we could drive as with him. I don't know. I haven't played 08 or 09, so I don't know the driver lineup, and he was in the 07 car for most of the 2008 season. Or no, it was 2006, my bad. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it was the 2006 season, but we didn't drive as him in that year. But that would have been RCR equipment. That probably would have been our best chance at a championship. But trying to get him his first career win at Daytona tonight, and it's not going very good. We've got some damage that we definitely have to repair when we get to our first pit stop of the race. We have had 1 caution already on lap 2. We're going to need another one to try to get this field bunched back together again. Luckily, there are cars behind us, so although Brian Vickers had pulled away from us initially there, he's not going to continue to pull away because he doesn't have any drafting help to pull away from the 22. More than likely. Although this car is shoving terribly with the damage on the nose. So I'm having a hard time trying to get it to turn in the corners. I might have to start burping the throttle, which is not something you want to do with restrictor plate racing, but I mean, look at it. It just sails. It just launches up the racetrack. Oh, that wasn't me that time. Sterling Marlin getting tight into us even. Even when I'm running well. Or better. I wouldn't say well. This is ugly. I thought the 500 finishing 25th was going to be the worst finish of the season. Things were going so good. Even in the last handful of races, even though I've only won one of the last three, we're still getting top 5 finishes. Even though Michigan, I didn't really have a top 5 car. We pretty much ran like 7th on back the whole race. I was able to fuel mileage my way into a 4th place finish. You know, Fontana, we fuel mileage our way into a win. Pocono, I didn't have race winning speed, but was up in contention most of the time. Led some laps in the middle going into the race. Eventually ended up finishing in 3rd. I'm trying to let these guys go so I can draft behind. I almost wrecked David Stremme. I about wrecked myself in the process. I'm still wrecking. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna get lapped. Oh, this is ugly. This is an ugly race so far. Back to 40th for Dave Blaney. I still have faith. I have faith that we're going to get a caution. We're going to put 4 fresh tires back on this thing. We're going to repair whatever nose damage we have to the best of the team's ability. If there's one thing we know how to do, we know how to fight. All right, we've been in situations, not quite this bad this season, but we've been in situations that, you know, I wondered how I was going to get out of it. Look at the Coca-Cola 600. Coca-Cola 600, I did not win that race. I finished 5th. But needless to say, I was a lap down because of a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops. And I was able to race my way into the free pass position, caught a caution, and was able to eventually fight my way back up to 5th before the end of the race. And that was only, what, last week? Last Friday? So it's not impossible. Started 43rd, not the way to go. Well, unfortunately, so I had to run to Walmart after work. That's why the stream was a little long. And by the time I got here, I was really hungry, and I didn't feel like waiting 3 hours to eat. So I grabbed something to eat, and now here we are. I did not have time to practice or qualify. I left the setup in it that I would have had for Daytona earlier in the season because it does save the preset or the setting that you had if you go back to the same track again. So we did run Daytona already this year. It's actually the first track we're at for the second time. And again, we led 70 laps in that race. The only difference is I qualified poorly at Daytona, so I was probably going to start mid-pack or worse again tonight. But remember, we had the dual race before the 500, so I was actually able to race my way into a top 5 dual finish, meaning we started top 10 in the 500. And after starting top 10 in the 500, I was already up towards the front of the field, so I pretty much stayed there the whole day. You know, this instance, we're at the back, and now we're even further. We got a couple cars behind us yet. Probably what, Michael Waltrip? I think that's who's catching us. We got Michael Waltrip, the 147 car who I accidentally hit coming towards pit road after there was a stack up in front of me off turn 4. And Mark Martin, I think, is behind us. Unless he passed us already. This is Waltrip, though. I figured it was the Napa Dodge behind us. We got 2 Dodges. All right. I was not trying to go from the apron to the wall there. This thing's a handful. The damage to this car, it is a handful. The problem is I have damage to the front, which is hurting the top end speed. And I have damage to the rear because I've gotten hit from behind as well in the midst of the stack up. So it's aero loose and there's no speed. And it shoves. I can't keep it off the wall without lifting. It's just not possible. We got a long race, though. We might be back here for a minute. You know, maybe we'll be the first car lapped down when we get lapped and we get the free pass. Like, we're going to get back in this race. I promise you. Well, I shouldn't promise you because we could go green the rest of the way. But, like I said, I still have faith. Murder Drones, Fan Junkie, thanks for tuning in. Waltrip never drove a Dodge in 07. It's technically the 2006 season. When MWR first started up in 06, they were at Dodge before Toyota came into NASCAR. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that that's the case. Once Toyota came into NASCAR, then MWR was in a Camry. All right. Mark Martin and Michael Waltrip are there. So now we got a car behind us. Car in front of, I mean, if I can't turn. That's the problem right now. It is so bad. I push so hard. I mean, it's not even like pushing so hard because usually you would go full throttle anyway at Daytona. So the fact that I can't do that with the damage to the car, I can't stay in the draft behind anybody. Because I have to lift and I'm just going to lose them. Halfway out of gas. Maybe we'll get a caution in the middle of green flag stops and I try to stay out as long as I can or something. I'm just keeping Mark Martin behind me at this point. Please, Mark. Don't drive away from me. Come on, Mark. Reel me in. Yeah, I just don't have that push from behind to keep with him. This is not good. 42nd. We got one more car behind us yet. Big gap back to Jeff Gordon yet, too. See, the problem is, too, I'm too far back to go fuel only and catch the back of the pack again. That damage to the back of the 147 car. Me running into him, because we were gaining ground in the draft there for like 2 or 3 laps. Once I was caught up with the back of the pack on that restart, I mean, what, we got up to 34th, 33rd, somewhere around there? I was making moves, but the minute we got in the back of the 147 car and they stacked up off turn 4 again, is the minute that this car went to shit. I knew I hit him hard right after I had hit him. And here he comes. He's probably going to try to wreck me. He's probably upset with me for it. Even though it wasn't my fault. It wasn't his fault either, though. He's got somebody else to be mad at. That is not Dave Blaney. I'm just going to let him go at this point. I'm surprised he's not a rival. I yeeted him into the pits. What if I elevate the tire pressure to the highest next stop to get more top end speed? So it will free the car up, obviously, with doing that. I have done that before. I haven't gone all the way up, but I have raised air pressure on the super speedways before to try to help the top end speed. I could try to do that. I just need to get this thing to handle first, though. Like, if I do that with an ill-handling car, it's just going to make it more free. Because it's just going to be standing on top of the track in the corners more than what it already is. It's so tight in traffic. I could go full throttle by myself because the speeds are down. I'm not in the draft keeping the speeds up. But the minute I get a little bit of draft for a straightaway in front of me, man. I had to go to Walmart to get more fluids. I just went there to get milk. But it is snowing outside, so my trip was a little belated. I actually didn't think it was supposed to start snowing here until like later tonight. I was shocked that it was starting to snow and I was on my way home. I got out of Walmart and it was coming down pretty good. Still is. Which is going to be a fun drive to work in the morning, let me tell you. I know we're supposed to get a couple inches. That means I'm going to have to get up about a half hour to 45 minutes earlier so I can make sure I make it to work on time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts if I'm late, so it's kind of not their problem that I'm the one that lives 35 minutes away. There are people that live even further away than I do, but of the people on my shift, at least that I talk to on a semi-regular basis, I think I live the furthest away than any of them. I think the high here is supposed to be like 17. But the wind chill in the morning is supposed to be 0. It's supposed to snow through the night also. It's definitely... It's going to be a tough drive. So Jeff Gordon led for quite a while. Greg Biffle, sometime recently, has just taken the lead. So Biffle's out in front now. Disney Cars and Racing Productions, thanks for tuning in. Ethan Chua, also thanks for tuning in. Edwin Justice. Anybody who I did not shout out that has been in the chat since the start of the stream, excuse me. Greatly appreciate it. It was hard in the pack there for that little bit of time to actually see who was all in the chat and all the commotion that was going on there for those several laps that it was going on for. I was trying to focus on keeping my car on the track, and that still wasn't enough. Yeah, I think the high temperature, I didn't look at like the hour by hour forecast here, but yeah, that high of 17 here, I do think it is like overnight. It's just supposed to drop. I mean, it was slowly getting colder and colder every time I went outside at work earlier. From one break to the next. Yeah, around Toledo. I live a little outside of Toledo, Ohio. Ryan Berwick, John Fleming, thanks for tuning in. Shovel tomorrow or stay home? Well, if you're like me, I'm very much a wimp when it comes to heavy winds when it's cold. I think it sounds like a good day to stay behind a heater. About to go a lap down. The original strategy coming into the race, I was going to go right sides only for one stop, left sides for another. I'm going to try to stay on the lead lap as long as I can here, but no guarantees we're going to be able to do that for a long enough period of time. Again, this is just in case caution comes out, because, yeah, I could get the free pass. The problem with getting the free pass means is I'm basically kind of forced to restart at the tail end of the field anyway. At least if we were to get a caution while on the lead lap, there's an off chance I could gain positions on pit road. I won't be at the very back anymore. And hopefully by that time, under our first stop, we can repair the damage needed to try to at least get this thing quicker than it is. It's not going to be completely fixed, though. That's the problem. We'll never completely fix it. But we can definitely make it better. Jeff Gordon did lap us. Biffle to the inside. I couldn't hold the outside full throttle all the way through the corner. I really tried. Gotta do my best to try to stay as close to these guys as possible. I'm not going to make any adjustments this first stop. I need to just... I don't even know what the car handles like by itself. We didn't get enough laps for me to get a gauge as far as how it was going to feel in the draft. Because we basically wrecked it so early. I don't like that Kurt Busch is running that middle upper line right there. Because I definitely can't go there. Harvick giving us a little bit of a push, but yeah, it's not enough. XX Larry, thanks for tuning in. Snow who's mirroring. Turn the heat up to 80. Oh boy, Harvick's still upset from Pocono. My goodness. Grow up. It's been 3 races. I literally have not hit him. He's only hit me. I never really wanted to get payback on him. He tried to wreck me the one time I was around him at Sonoma, too. And we've got cars pitting for the first time today, lap 32. So here's the thing. I'm running such a slow pace right now, I'm actually going to be able to go quite a ways on fuel compared to the rest of the field here. We're definitely going to stay out of the pits as long as possible. And I'm still going right side tires only. And the good news is we have such a massive points lead, I will still be the points leader after this race. Just got to survive for about 8 more races. Got 8 races to go after this until the chase. 9 races to go after this until the chase. 1/8 of a tank of gas left at this point in the run. Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart going to get by. A couple other cars in the lead lap pit. We've got cars that we're actually passing for position right now, which obviously we will still have to pit. So currently we are not in the free pass position because other cars are a lap down and we're not the first car a lap down. There are cars that have cycled out of the pits that are behind Biffle up ahead. Currently we are 34th out of 43, and all 43 are still on the track too. I don't think anybody's DNF'd yet, considering I wasn't last right before the pit stop started. Ouch. Gonna end up hitting the wall more times in this race if we can't fix this thing than what I did the entirety of the Southern 500. What was my wall counter? It was like in the upper 20s. I had to have hit the wall like a dozen times already. Like 35 laps here. Got by Yaley. Another car to try to catch a pass up ahead. It's Tony Raines in the 96. About half the field is a lap down. Greg Biffle still out on the track. Maybe there's an offhand chance that we could go 40 laps a run. Now, granted, we had 3 caution laps already, so we did save a little bit of gas there. Lap 36. So the heat's a little high. 80 degrees is wild. I've never heard of turning the wintertime heat up to 80 degrees. I'd be sweating profusely just sitting here. All right, looking at that fuel indicator. Let's just now flashing red. Right off the exit of turn 4. Kurt Busch is on pit road, so we are currently back on the lead lap. It looks like the last of the lead lap cars are in. We're currently scored in 20th. I believe that was Kurt Busch's first lap led of the race as well. We're going to stay on one more lap. I'm going to pit at lap 38. Big run, actually held it, getting into 3 and 4 there. Proud of myself. Oh, Reigns hit the wall. I didn't lift. Glad to know I'm not the only one hitting the fence. Up to 19th. Hey, that's a race high. About to be another spot higher. Got Robbie Gordon. Well, I'm going to lose a spot to Dale Jarrett. Gained one, lost one. So 199, that's a spot. Up to 18th. All right. The caution came out like right now and everybody came back down to top off on fuel again. Oh, that'd be beautiful. That's too perfect of a situation, though. Oh, man. I was trying to get off the wall, but McMurray hit us before he cleared. I locked those tires up a ton coming into the pits there. We're going to go right side tires only. Estimated 12.2 second stop with the damage repair. No adjustments. All right. Right side tires only. Assist level. I don't think I have assists on. It really is the damage. I led a bunch of laps at Daytona with this very setup earlier in the season. We just had the ugliest start imaginable. And it doesn't take much damage to mess the handling up. Especially when you're not already the fastest car. Oh, nearly had a wreck there. Jeff Gordon trying to block Greg Biffle for the lead. They got into one another. Dave Blaney trying to get up to speed right now in front of the field. By taking right sides only, we were able to cycle out just in front of the leaders and get our lap back. And Kurt Busch is back out in front after getting by the 24 and the 16 on the back straightaway there. All right, we're up to speed. The balance is still not going to be perfect going with the right sides only either, but it should free it up a little bit, though, by going right sides only, even with no adjustments. So I don't think I'm going to have to worry about the car being tight anymore. Shouldn't. We'll find out when we get a car in front of us for the first time. And I think 2 guys are out of the race because we are in 41st. I don't think anybody else is a lap down yet. So Elliott Sadler going to get through. That was tight. Not giving Kurt Busch a lot of room there, trying to jump up in line in between all these leaders. Sorry, I got loose in the tri-oval. Sorry, Biff. Sadler and Busch battling side by side for the lead. Jimmy Johnson up to 3rd. He wants a piece of it. I mean, if I can't stay with these guys now, I don't think I'm ever going to. I'm never going to be able to get the damage any more repaired than I have so far. So from the damage side of things, this is going to be as good as the car is going to get. And I'm still not fast enough to keep up with anyone. I did just run my fastest lap of the race, so I mean, it is improvement. It's better than it was, but it's still not good enough to stay with these guys. That tells you how bad it was before. But I'm kind of hanging on with Johnson. Kenseth left the back bumper of this 22 car, went up with Bobby Labonte on the high side instead. I do have an automatic transmission, which probably kills me on the restarts. Scraped the wall off turn 4, and I still ran my fastest lap. Yeah, it's still a little tight. I lifted going into turn 1 that time. I'm probably going to lose Johnson because of it. I can't run the high side. I don't think I'd be tight if we were running the bottom. But running the top, I definitely can't. Yeah, the gearing would definitely be a problem on the restarts, but not like right now because I'm not shifting. And I didn't have a problem with it at Sonoma yesterday. I ran automatic transmission the whole time. Yeah, the car's better than it was. I mean, I just passed Jimmy Johnson, so that alone should say that it is better than what it was. We were running 47 O's there for a bit as well. Still the first car 1 lap down. That Kenseth on the 17 car going to get by us. Honestly, staying where we are right now and keeping up with drivers that are at the very front of the field gives me hope that we may have fixed the problem. I think for when I do have 4 fresh tires back on it, I will probably have to free it up a little bit. Because again, taking the rights only is probably going to free it up in and of itself. Bump drafting Matt Kenseth repetitively. Kind of closing the gap a little bit on Kurt Busch and Elliott Sadler. I did not want to run the outside that time. I mean, I purposely went to the bottom. I had such a run on him. I, A, didn't want to lift. B, I didn't want to push him in the corner, especially on the high side. We both would have ended up in the wall. And C, if I tried to run the top, even if I didn't bump draft him, I probably would have hit the wall as well. All right, so we have 115 laps to hope for a caution. And I have to be the first car 1 lap down, which again, so far, the only car 1 lap down, because I believe the other 2 are out of the race. I mean, I'm going to be stubborn and not run the top in the corners as much as I could help it. If I have a run, I'm just going to take it. You know, if I pass him and he has to pass me back, that's okay. I can't lose these guys. We're catching up on a couple cars at the tail end of the field, too. Actually, I think one of them just blew an engine or something. We do have a car down in the apron. Right in the middle of 3 and 4. Labonte looking to the inside of Dave Blaney there briefly. I don't know who this is on the apron. Oh, it's Jeff Gordon! Wow, Jeff Gordon's going a lap down. He was set pretty there early on. And Labonte going to get by us as we hit the wall of 1 and 2. I tried to run the top. I really don't want to damage the car much. Labonte will run the bottom. Kenseth back to that middle to upper groove of the racetrack. Slight wiggle by Blaney. Stayed in the gas. Kind of drove out of it. Bonnie chased the car right up the track to try to side draft the 17 of Kenseth in the left rear. .22 to push the 43. On the inside lane. I'll work with Labonte. We got to get by Kenseth, though. Oh, don't go to the outside, Bobby. No, Bobby. That's going to pull Kenseth by. We were working so well, Bobby. He's too far ahead of me. I got to go to the top to draft behind Kenseth. I'm going to have to try to slingshot Kenseth if I can get close enough to him. They're drafting down the straightaways away from me, though. Because they're running in the same line down the straightaways, but in the corners they separate, and that's hurting me. Faintly getting closer and closer to what I believe is the 147 car, who's the last car in the lead lap, scored in 39th. Got to keep pace with these leaders. Oh, boy. How did Kenseth not lose momentum there? I definitely did not hit him square. I tried to move to the outside of him is what I was trying to do. I was trying to take the top away from him into 3. Then he went up to block at the last second, and I thought he was going to turn himself, but he actually kept speed. 46.642, fastest lap of the race, and now Blaney makes a move on Labonte as they're closer to the front of the field on Sadler and Kurt Busch. Labonte on the high side now, but behind the 22. 38 ran the top, keeping the draft up. Sadler's got to run on Kurt Busch, but he's not really going to go anywhere with it. Blaney going to go to the bottom underneath of Sadler. Side drafts Kurt Busch in the 2, but can't quite get his lap back there off turn 4. Would have probably had enough to pass one car, but they were so tight nose to tail with each other. Couldn't really get around them. It's best to unlap ourselves rather than be the first car lap down if we can help it. Worst case scenario, we catch a caution, we're not either one. So that's why we want to at least keep up with the leaders like we are right now at the top 4. Kenseth and Labonte working together on the high side on Dave Blaney. I'm going to lose them. Nobody's working with me. They all keep abandoning me. I didn't think that move, trying to pass Kurt Busch at the time, now it's Sadler in the lead, but I didn't think that move was going to bite me that much. We lost so much momentum that all 4 just rolled around us on the outside. We got freight trained. And Jimmy Johnson, who's back in 5th place, is going to have to be the next car to kind of come and get to us. Our only yellow lap 2. Obviously, we were still in the lead lap at that time. Coming off the heels of a 21 caution race at Sonoma yesterday, where I wasn't involved in a single one. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry, Jimmy. Man, we're losing so much time to these guys. I'm so slow by myself. That's that Bill Davis Racing Dodge. This is I should say this is technically after Ward Burton won the Daytona 500 with these guys. You would think they'd have a little bit more speed on the super speedways with that included. Dave Blaney had some good runs in the Tommy Baldwin 36 car at super speedways. I remember the tandem racing days. He was out there leading laps at Dega. That Golden Corral paint scheme, kids eat free, with a top 10 finish. There was one race that I thought he was going to win. I think it was the 2012 race. The 2012 summer race. I thought Dave Blaney was going to win that one. Could be getting my my years mixed up. Might have been it was the 2011, not 2012. 2012 was the year Stewart flipped in front of the field. 2011 fall Dega race. He led a lot of laps in that one. Not to mention the 2012 Daytona 500. Also in that same 36 car as well. Granted, that was because Montoya hit a jet dryer, so that was a little bit different circumstance too. Little wall contact. .147 car is a lap down up on the outside lane. The leaders are sporadically getting by on the bottom lane of the racetrack. Dave Blaney is between the 5th and 6th place drivers of Jimmy Johnson and Tony Stewart, just trying to keep his pace up enough to catch this 147 car and get into the free pass position before a potential caution comes out. After that, though, you look at the track map and where Elliott Sadler is, it's a ways before the next car is to go a lap down. And honestly, if we can keep ourselves close enough into the next set of pit stops, we can actually maybe unlap ourselves with the 2-tire stop again. We won't have as much damage to repair, so that should be a little bit quicker than a 12.9 second stop this time around as well. We're going to keep fighting. I mean, we're going to stay through this the whole way. There's smoke off turn 4, so we almost had a crash last lap. Thank goodness there wasn't. Imagine like the one lap I'm not in the free pass spot. Or 2 laps, however many laps I haven't been since the 147 car got lapped. And go figure that would have been a lap we almost had a caution. That's why I was fighting so hard just to stay up there with them. Halfway through the fuel run. Yeah, 13-year-old Keegan said for Montoya to hit the jet dryer so his future favorite driver's dad would win. Johnson a little push off the exit of turn 4, and he pulled quite a ways ahead of us in the middle of the tri-oval. But staying with the 48 car enough. You know, the timeline of that, it's actually pretty wild, too, if you think about it. That 2012 Daytona 500, I think that next season was when Ryan Blaney made his Xfinity Series debut in the Tommy Baldwin car at Richmond. I think it was 2013. So a year after almost winning the Daytona 500, if the race had ended under that red flag, Ryan was making his Xfinity debut. What a time. Here's the 147 car. Oh, I pushed. No, don't lose him now. A little contact with Tony Stewart. Bounced off the wall right into him. Wrong place at the wrong time for the 20. Cut the momentum off when we had a run on the 147 initially. I really didn't want to draft with him. I wanted to draft with Johnson, but oh, here we go. We got to get around him. I can't just draft with him. Just in case we catch a caution. We're back in the free pass spot, now in 39th. I also got to hope Jeff Gordon, who's a lap down, doesn't catch up to us and pass us. Assuming he's back up to speed again. Now Johnson was able to get back in front of the 22, and we can draft with Jimmy again. I lifted going into the corner that time, and I still shoved. Oh, it was 2012, so it was the same season then. I was thinking it was 2013. 2012 just seemed too early for me. That's crazy. Yeah, what a timeline. I think he was only 19 years old, too. There we go. I stayed in the gas that time. We're actually gaining ground on the top four. Jimmy Johnson's got a good push partner there behind him. Doing what we have to do. I just didn't want to believe it was the same year. I'm going to lose him. That was a big enough hit into the wall right at the exit of turn 4. Yeah, it tightens up over the long run quite a bit. Doesn't help these left side tires are 63 laps old now. And the 147 is going to be catching right back up to us again. I can't have him pass me and draft with him. As much as I want to try to catch the leaders, I can't do that because if we were to get a caution, that would hurt me so badly. We're going to have to hope that somebody else could catch us. A little less than 100 laps to go. I just can't believe we haven't had a caution yet. And take a half around a wedge out of the car. And we're changing left sides only with the second pit stop of the day. Pitted at lap 38 initially. Way more draft already during this run than what we saw the entirety of the first fuel run. So I wonder if we have been able to back up a little bit more fuel as a result of that. Out of the 147 cleanly, though. Staying in front. Sadler's quickly catching the back of the field. I just kind of looked up there, and that giant gap is not giant anymore. All right, Harvick. Thank you for not wrecking me that time. I don't care how many of these lead lap cars get by me. Because it doesn't matter. We just got to stay in front of the 147. And I just need drafting help so we can get the speed back up. I can't fall too far back if I want a chance at unlapping myself again on the next stop. Same time, I just can't keep up with anybody. I think I can keep up with Truex this time. Because he cleared me right off the exit of the corner instead of corner entrance or middle of the turn. So I was able to get into the wake of his draft pretty quickly. Burping the throttle, getting into turn 3. Still shoving, though. My goodness. This car is very shovey today. Got another car down on the apron. There's the Dover Monster. Actually, he might have just pitted. I was so far out of the gas. Kurt Busch leads. Yeah, we had quite a few cars come to pit road, I think, that lap. Dale Jarrett coming out of the pits. This car, man, this car. Can't believe I'm not on the lead lap. Well, if you watch the whole race, I can believe it. Jeff Gordon again. I think he just came off pit road. We were already ahead of him. Well, we're still in front of the 147. The problem is, though, we have cars cycling out of the pits that are going to be ahead of us a lap down, so we are not in the free pass spot anymore. Going to have to be a fast two-tire stop to try to have any sort of chance at staying on the lead lap. I'm going to stay out of the pits as long as I can yet again as well. We'll have a couple of laps where we will be on the lead lap when everybody pits, because we'll probably be the last car to pit road yet again. It'll be our second of 4 pit stops here today. I'd like to believe that the car was never going to be this bad if I didn't get the damage, because, again, I can't completely fix it. And it definitely was better at the start of the run. But with where we're at right now, it's just, we've got what we got. We've got what we've got. Excuse me. Appreciate everybody that's hit the like button on the stream so far. 18 likes. Be sure to do that if you haven't done so yet. Our next Cup race on NASCAR 7 on the season playthrough, we will be at Chicagoland, and that will be on Friday. I am doing NASCAR 7 content tomorrow, but we'll be back in the modified series tomorrow evening. #25th currently. I mean, even a caution here while we're a lap down and not in the free pass position, there are a lot of other cars a lap down, so at least I'd have somebody to race with. It would still be a positive. It'd be even more of a positive, like I mentioned already, if we can do this after everybody has hit pit road. Dale Jr. coming in. We have 0 cars around us right now. There's somebody closing in behind us, I think, that's already pitted. A couple more cycling off of pit road, up to 18th. Tied for the highest we've been in the running order yet today. Kurt Busch still has to pit from the lead yet. Got a few more laps. I'm going to run 2 more laps when that fuel indicator gets to dark red, which is what I did last time. And I didn't have to worry about sputtering or anything like that. Ryan Newman on pit road. We did unlap ourselves, by the way. Robbie Gordon's still on the track. Wow, how about Robbie Gordon leading at Daytona? It's during green flag pit stops, but still. Has more laps led than I've led today. I didn't lead at Michigan 2 races ago either. This could be the second time in 3 races we will go the whole way without leading the lap. Here's Biffle. 16th, race high. Race high, 16th place position. Robbie Gordon's in the pits right now. That'll be 15th at the line. I'm staying out this time. I'm probably going to pit the following lap. We're going to stay out and pit at lap 74. Man, give us a caution right now. Right now. Before I pit, please. Or while I'm on pit road, actually, because Then I won't have to... I could actually save some track position there. Ooh, contact with Joe Nemechek. Sorry, Joe. Everybody got tagged there. That was weird. Okay. Well, we're 15th. We were 15th for a little bit. Coming to lap 75, but we're pitting this time. Trying to get all I can into the pits without speeding. It's risky. We got down. Okay, we're good. Half round of wedge we're going to take out of it. We're going to go left side tires only. Hopefully half round of wedge is good. I mean, if we have to go another half round, I don't want to go full round and have it be wrecking loose. We need a clean stop, guys. We got to, any chance we can get back on the lead lap. I don't think it's going to be possible. I think we were too far back. It's higher in the running order than what I was the first time, but I think that's because we had a couple guys DNF. Yeah, there goes Sadler. Gosh darn it. I knew I was too far behind. Please don't barrel it off into me, please. This is a dangerous spot to be right now. Almost peed myself. I don't think anybody that passed us wasn't on the lead lap. I think we're the first car one lap down at the moment. It might not stand for very long. For the love of God, can we get a caution? How have we not had anything? We're almost halfway. Had nothing. Yeah, I mean, I stayed on the bottom of the track. I just wasn't on the apron all the way around to get up to speed. Didn't really slow anybody else. They all went whizzing by me on the top. Oh, we got a caution! Jamie McMurray just crashed off turn 2 right in our rear view mirror. That was a pretty hard hit. I saw that. Looked like he blew a tire or something. That was odd. He just went straight. I don't know setup-wise if that was... I mean, it was probably better. We only ran a lap. Was I in the free pass position? I'm definitely pitting again. If I was in the free pass or not, because even if I wasn't, there's only going to be a couple cars a lap down. So I'm definitely pitting. We could top off on fuel. We're going to take 4 fresh tires instead of just the 2. I'm going to keep the half round of wedge out of the car. And I mean, the caution doesn't hurt. I really hope we got the free pass, but we're not going to know until we restart. Oh, go to the bathroom. I thought you said go to the bottom, not the bathroom. Well, it took almost half the race. We don't knock over the catch can, man. You got to run with your head up. You can't run with your head down. Not on a NASCAR pit stop. You got to have your head on a swivel. No other guy. There's no other car on pit road. No reason to rush, and he still ran into him. Oh, we're a lap down, aren't we? Are we in that bottom lane? Oh, we are. Yep, there were a couple cars a lap down. So Dave Blaney did not get the free pass. Green flag is back in the air at lap 80. And now we've got to do it the old-fashioned way. We've got slightly fresher tires. Is it possible that we have maybe fixed the car well enough to race our way to the lead lap and or in the free pass position? We're 40th after passing Gordon. I was 1 position off. I think. 2. I was 2. There were 37. Now 38th would be free pass. So 38th is the free pass car now. 37th would have been before. So we were 2 positions off of getting our lap back. Still trying to get the speed here. 3 wide middle for a brief moment, but Ryan Newman gets by to the bottom. Get the push from behind. I might be able to get to him. Now the car feels too loose. At least in the tri-oval, it turns in the corner really well. So it turns in the corner fine, but it feels way too loose. Now it's really going to be loose. Gosh darn it. That was on me. That was on me. I can't pit for fuel or tires. It caused the incident. That's our 3rd yellow now. Well, at least I didn't go on my roof Josh Berry style there. Just kind of a lazy spin in the grass. And unfortunately, Kyle Busch was an innocent bystander. This thing is way too free. So with 4 tires. Clearly not the way to go. Can't take fuel. Can't take tires. I'll move the wedge, but... yeah, it was way too free. It didn't feel bad when I took the left side tires only, taking that wedge adjustment. So going forward, when I take 2 tires, I think I'll take the wedge out. But yeah, on 4 tires, it's just too free. That was the first time I took 4 fresh Goodyears at once. We only had 2 tire stops before that. Green flag back in the air. 39th. Oh, okay, so I was 1 spot off. So Paul Menard and Jeff Gordon are a lap down. Not going to be able to get by anybody. Well, we got by Newman, who was on the lead lap, but for positional sake, didn't do us anything. Three cautions. We've caused 2 of them. He's trying so desperately to get the car handling well. Busch, I don't even know how Busch got underneath us there. That was a great move. He was glued to the yellow line, that's for sure. He had a really low exit off the corner. I haven't really been able to see anybody do that yet today. Okay, so with the field bunched together, there's a chance we could get a caution. The problem is we're not in the free pass spot. We got to get by Paul Menard and Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon's going to be tough. He led laps earlier. I think he was off pace for a little bit because of contact. We can get to Paul Menard. He's riding the wall. Nobody's drafting with him. Handling with 4 tires does feel a lot better with the damage repair. Lenny's going to make a move underneath Kyle Busch. He ran his fastest lap of the day. I don't think he's going to be close enough to try to be able to draft off of Tony Stewart. One to pass Menard. Maybe there's a chance Gordon's unlapped himself. I doubt it, though. Kurt Busch had a really good launch initially in the restart. Sadler's there, too. Kyle Busch almost had contact with Paul Menard. Goes Greg Biffle in the 16. Hoping that we could stay with the Biff. Gotta get to Gordon. We do have more fuel in the car than anybody else because we did top off during the 2nd yellow. I couldn't do it during the 3rd because I caused the incident, but we topped off during the 2nd one. I think when we settle in, if we can get settled in. I think I got speed to stay with these guys. These restarts are just, I mean, they're terrible. Can't get going. Truex and Newman side by side. Constantly have cars trying to pass me too, so I mean if somebody was just riding line behind me, I could get my speed up and really be fine, and that just hasn't happened once today. They all want to go around me or tag team to get around me. Somebody blowing up. Please be Jeff Gordon. Oh, it's Greg Biffle. Greg Biffle's blown an engine. Tough break for the Biff. Newman had to give me more room than that. That apron costed me a little bit of speed. Scrubbed just enough off because I didn't lift there, but I also didn't want to spin out like I did on lap 2. Now Bobby Labonte's under us. Newman scraped the wall out of the rear view. Dale Jr. got cut off by Blaney. Blaney drafts with Labonte. I was drafting well with Bobby earlier. Way earlier. We first went a lap down. Get strung out here. Let's pick them off one by one. Bobby was running the bottom earlier too, so that was really helping me, but I don't know if he's going to want to do that again or not. Lap down with 71 laps to go here at Daytona. Big bump draft here with the 43 and moved to the bottom now by Dave Blaney to try desperately to get by this 43 car. Nice draft off the 1 and the 5 through the center of the corner. And we've got the 43 clear. And a big run here for Dave Blaney to the inside of Kyle Busch. And a rhythm now, and a bump draft behind Truex. And Truex is running the inside. He really has been the whole run, and we're finally able to keep up with him. Get me to the front, Martin. Somebody's lost the draft, by the way, too. Just ran a 46.467 that last lap. Fastest lap of the race here for the 22 yet again. Bump draft getting into the corner, and Jeff Gordon is the next car in front of the 1 and the 22 currently. So we got a caution at lap 75, 75. Well, technically it was 76. It was 75 for us because we were a lap down. So lap 76, yellow flag came out. Unfortunately, we were not in the free pass position anymore. Our time had expired for that to happen. And now we have to race our way into the free pass position from the restart. And we're about to do that when we get by Gordon here for 36th. Pass engaged. Blaney got to get by Truex as well. Might have made the move just a little bit too soon on the 1 car. Not really gaining any ground on Tony Stewart, but has to block the 24 of Gordon just in case we get a caution. Blaney trying to get a run. Behind the 1 of Truex, not going to happen. Come on. It's just, it's so hard. I definitely made the move early on Truex, but my goodness, like, why does it take me over a straightaway to get the momentum back up again? Because I'm not lifting. I'm just getting freight trained. The 1 and the 24 both went to the outside. I was really trying my best to cut back up behind the 1 and in front of the 24, but there wasn't room to do it. It was pretty tightly to the back bumper of him. Bonnie's pulling away. We've proved a couple times I'm fast enough to stay with these guys. But I just get unlucky with, you know, when they make the moves on me. Right here, in line behind Busch, we've got Newman on the back bumper of the 22. I'm lifting a little bit to try to let the 8 go, but the 12 goes from the top to the bottom. I completely cut him off. And that probably is going to cost me a chance of staying with Dale Jr. Frickin' Newman. I'm laughing in agony. This race is brutal. Nobody wants to work with me. I mean, this is insane. This is insane. It doesn't matter if they're allies or not. They will not work with me. I was just thinking of the SpongeBob episode where he thought everybody didn't want to be friends with him because he was ugly. I was about to say it's because it's because I'm ugly, aren't I? They don't want to be my friends because I'm ugly. Well, I'm ugly and I'm proud. Rookie Denny Hamlin finally have settled in with somebody, and it's going to be the 11 of Denny Hamlin. We do have a larger pack of cars behind us. Problem is Hamlin wants to run the outside, which isn't going to be good here for this 22 car. Jimmy Johnson going to get to the inside of Dave Blaney. Hey, listen, Hamlin, we got to run the bottom. I gave him a push going off into the corner. And he still, I mean, he didn't go to the inside. Jimmy's working with me. I wish he would work with me when he gets in front of me. He's probably just going to pull away from me. I just passed Hamlin back. Well, the only thing now, can I make the race on one more stop? We restarted at lap 80. I'm not halfway out of gas yet. Well, now I am. Never mind. Okay, so I'm definitely not going to make it. Dang it. I'm going to be probably 2 or 3 laps shy. Two to 3 laps short. Hamlin finally running the inside of the racetrack. Starting to gain a little ground. Closer we can get to Elliott Sadler. Well, Jeff Gordon. We got to find Gordon. He's quite a ways ahead of us now. Big time speed. It took a few laps, but Hamlin finally goes to the inside. If we just had somebody working with us for a longer period of time, we'd be okay. I didn't want to pass him. That was risky lifting where I did. He's probably going to get drafted off Casey Kane. No. He's pulling us now because he's getting the draft off Casey, who is also running the bottom. Now everybody wants to run the bottom. Help me, Jimmy. Nope. Well, we had help for about a lap and a half. I didn't want to go to the bottom. The runs are so big. It's either I lift and I lose them, or I try to stay in the gas to keep the momentum up. I get underneath them, and then by the time I go back in line behind them, I lose them. It really is a double-edged sword. Someone watches too much SpongeBob. I watched a lot of SpongeBob as a kid, but I will not complain about it whatsoever. I've got SpongeBob quotes for days. A lot of them definitely live rent-free in my head. But anybody else that also watched a lot of SpongeBob in their upbringing, they're right there with me. They're out there. They're out there. All right, Jimmy Johnson's running the inside of the racetrack, and Dave Blaney was able to keep up with him. Well, he ran the bottom for one corner, and then he moves back to the top through 3 and 4. I mean, looking at the track map, though, the gap between us and the leader is not as big as it was during the last set of green flag pit stops. Have to lift a ton to try to keep it off the wall. Getting into turns 3 and 4. Johnson gaps the 22 quite a bit there. I thought for a second there was a chance that Johnson was going to pull away from Blaney, but Blaney hangs on. And we've got cars coming to pit road. Sadly, not one of them, but we do have some of the lead lap cars coming in. Hopefully, Jeff Gordon. Nope, it was Harvick. I was hoping Gordon would pit so we'd at least be in the free pass spot. And we did have a couple cars actually pit before that, which I didn't realize till just now. You know, we might actually lead because we were at the front of the field and I could go longer than everybody else because we pitted during the second caution. Nobody else did. So we should actually get 5 bonus points for leading a lap at some point. Relatively soon. Oh boy. 3 wide. Pass made. Hamlin on the bottom of the track. Oh, that was perfect because I cleared both cars, stayed in the gas, made the 3 wide pass. Still close enough to draft with Hamlin because they're side by side behind me. One of them is going to have to work with me, and it was Jimmy Johnson. Oh, I was on the brakes getting into the corner. I still hit the wall. You don't want to hit the brakes. Not like that. That was bad. SpongeBob wasn't... Well, yeah, you're older than me. That makes sense. I think it started in the late 90s. It's those early year episodes, you know, those late 90s into the early 2000s. Gordon just pit. We've got cars that are probably in the free pass position, though, that have already pitted. We need this to cycle all the way through. Everybody's going to have to pit one more time. You know, I'm thinking about going fuel only because we're only... I think I'm going to do that. I think when I end up pitting, it's going to be a fuel only stop. Both times. We're only going to have to go 2 to 3 laps extra on tires. Each of these tires have gone almost 80 laps. So we're really only asking them to go, what, 82 when we were lap down, lap 80 restart. So SpongeBob aired 99. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That's what I was thinking. And SpongeBob's as old as I am. Lost our drafting help. All of them have pitted. We finally had drafting help for a few laps there, and they all pitted. I was wrong about getting to the lead. I got my hopes up on that. Should have known better. Quarter of a tank of gas left. And most of the field is pitted, but not all of them. Kurt Busch still has to pit yet. 18th. There's Yaley. 17th. Yeah, Looney Tunes was on too. I'm right there with you. SpongeBob was just, that was like my number one, but yeah, Looney Tunes was good. There's nothing that says comedy quite like Wile E. Coyote trying to catch the Roadrunner. And practically dying in every which way possible in the process of trying to do so. Got a car coming out of the pits here. We'll see if we can draft with them. It's Mark Martin in the 6 car. And we kind of caught him at that perfect point as he was getting up to speed, and he got to speed right in the middle of the corner through 3 and 4. Blaney didn't have to lift at all. So we've got drafting help in the 18th place position currently. I wasn't trying to squeeze in there. I was just trying to stay in the gas, but the car was getting too tight again. It's the end of the run. I just can't help it from getting tight. Newman's in the pits. We're on the lead lap. Give us a caution. Right now. Give us a yellow. If not right now, at some point before I pit. At some point before we pit, if we could get a caution running right in the middle of the pack. We've got old tires, so it's a little harder to hold on with guys right now, but it's still somewhat doable. Got J.J. Yaley right in front of me. $49 laps to go here at Daytona. Much better spot than what it was on. This is true. Which it's still not great. I mean, I am fortunate we've had DNFs, which, I mean, you kind of figure that in every race, but so we're automatically going to finish ahead of those guys, but there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. It might be just a candle, but there's some light. And that light is probably the flashing on the fuel indicator on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. 11 seconds off the lead currently in 17th. Yeah, stay in the draft. You know, even if I don't try to pass anybody, just stay in the draft. Yaley's going to try to get by McMurray here. I'm going to bump draft Yaley down the straightaway. I learned my lesson from, trying to pass both of them. I could probably pass them both, but then I would lose Martin. Right back in the same situation again. 16th. So 14th and 15th place right in front of us. Martin with a bit of a block there on Yaley off turn 4. And our fuel indicator gets the dark red. We can go 2 more laps after that before pitting. Hasn't gone dark red yet. Lap 46 laps left at the line. Big run to the outside. Martin's up there. I had to lift to try to keep a little bit of momentum up, but I still hit the wall. Fuel indicator just went dark red. Still staying with them, even though I scraped the wall off turn 4. Probably because they're not running nose to tail with one another. Kind of splitting off in the corners a little bit. Here we go. Here we go. If I could clear him before we get into turn 3, that was beautiful. We're up to 15th. I only got one car to deal with. Somebody crash. Please. Please. I think I'm going to go one more lap after this. I mean, what do we have to lose at this point, right? Oh, wow, that shoved quite a bit getting into 3. Maybe give someone a little push. I'm trying to bum draft him. We're going to stretch it one more. Hey, I've actually picked up time. We were 11 seconds back. Now it's 10.2. Only I can consistently do that. I pushed him so hard off turn 4 that we're going to lose him. Pushed him so hard he just started pulling away from us. Oh, no! Yep, it was a risk. And we're not going to get the reward. Out of gas. Well, I'm definitely not in a good spot now. Wow. Trying to block everybody. I had nothing to lose there. It was still a bummer it happened. Splash and go, boys. Splash and go. The only one that was going to beat us is Jeff Gordon. I am Paul Menard, I guess, too. Go. We're still in the lead lap? Oh, barely. Oh, Jimmy. That actually got me going a little quicker. Blasted me from second to third. This car might be a little loose now. Maybe we get a debris caution from Jimmy Johnson. Oh, Newman up against the wall. Yeah, Jeff Gordon's going to be in the free pass spot anyway. We might still be ahead of Paul Menard. It's not impossible we're ahead of him still, but Jeff Gordon's definitely ahead of us. Because Biffle DNF'd, so we weren't racing for 36th anymore. Now it's 35th. He DNF'd not long after the restart. I'm still hoping we get a caution and then maybe try to stretch the fuel window and everybody else pits or stays out, I mean. But that caution would have to come like right now because we're at 40 to go with being a lap down. Yeah, no big one today, unfortunately. 3 wide middle here at Daytona. Oh boy, we almost had the big one right there. Newman almost went 2003 into the infield grass. Oh, same car too. I was keeping up with Mark Martin before, so this should be... All these guys we're racing around right now should be about 15th, 16th place, because that's where Martin was. Martin was 14th. And he's probably passed a couple cars for position like Newman and Johnson, so we're just outside where the top 10 is. There's still a chance to get a caution in the middle of the next green flag pit stops to get us back on the lead lap. But the problem is at that point, it's not really going to do anything for us other than ensure we'll finish on the lead lap. Unless I stayed out of the pits and tried to hope that we can make it. I mean, that would be the only other way staying green would really do anything for us. Or, I mean, sorry, getting a caution at that point. I mean, we would save 3 laps. And I'm only about 3 laps short. It was lap 117 I ran out. So, I mean, it's not impossible that we can make it on a caution and not have to pit the rest of the way. So we would keep our track position, you know, with where we're running right now. We'll probably gain a couple spots. Maybe lose a couple. Probably lose a couple more than anything. So we're still top 20. If we were to get a caution that way, which is better than 36th. But to win the race... Yeah, that's asking for a lot. Drafting with Jimmy Johnson. Oh, I got tight again. Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. It rolls fine until it doesn't. And there's no way of telling it's going to happen until it happens. So I can't really, and if I lift, I lose time. Like, this car's so broken. It's been broken since like lap 6 or 7 or whatever it was that I got into the back of the 147 car after that stack up off turn 4. Somebody might have to go back in the stream and see what lap that was. That lap ruined our race. Because we fixed some of the damage. but you can never fix all of it. So that was just going to be with us the rest of the day. I remember when I was making passes, and we went from last to about 33rd or 34th. Thought the car was repaired good enough. Well, for speed, but not handling. When it handles, here we are right behind Casey Kane. But when it doesn't, I'm not embarrassed, I'm frustrated. I don't get embarrassed. Not publicly, at least. No public humiliation for me. Part of me does regret going that extra lap for fuel, because we ran out right on the exit of turn 2. I wonder if there was anything there. Maybe, just maybe, we could be on the lead lap right now. I think even if we weren't on the lead lap, I'd be in the free pass position on Jeff Gordon. You know, and at that point, where could we be? It's tough. They didn't want to pass Casey Kane. Really didn't want to pass you, Casey. Don't let me pass you. If I go to pass you, just block me. Alright? Because I want to stay in the gas just as much as you do. Definitely, without a question, worst race of the season for Dave Blaney here tonight. Ryan Newman in the 12. It's now the draft car in front of the 22. They do. Look at it, just shove. He shoved into the wall, and then I shoved into him. You know, maybe you wouldn't have hit the wall if you tried to run the bottom, Newman. Did you ever think about that? 'Cause I know I wouldn't hit the wall if I was running the bottom. I'm only hitting it when I'm on the top. His car probably handles much better than me, and he can't keep it off the wall. What does that say for me? It means I never had a chance. That's what that means. Here he is running the top again. And there I am against the wall again. I can't do it. I lose him either way. What a broken race. He's going to run the bottom now, isn't he? Sure. A little late. It's a little late, Newman. It's the thought that counts. Still not good enough. Not for me. Well, we got 30 laps to go. I can't believe we've gone this whole race basically a lap down. I've been a lap down since just after lap 20. Other than in the midst of green flag pit stops. And for a brief moment in time, I'll be on the lead lap. Which will still happen one more time. Unless we get a flurry of cautions. And I'll need a flurry because Jeff Gordon would get the free pass first, so then I would need another one to get it after him. Well, we got a yellow. Maybe this is the flurry. 29 laps to go, 28 for the leaders. They were past the line and they're a lap ahead of us. And we do have a car upside down for the first time here at Daytona this evening. I can't tell who it is. The car was so shaded out upside down. I literally couldn't tell. I can't tell who that is. I didn't see a number. There is nothing there. So Jeff Gordon gets the free pass. Man, I'm going to have to pit. Because I'm a lap down, so staying out really doesn't do anything. I don't know that the wave around works in this game. It might. I think I would probably restart in front of the leaders, but they'd be right there behind me, so I don't think that's worth staying out because we would have to more than likely pit again the rest of the way. It'd be close. So we're just going to take tires. 4 fresh Goodyears. We know the car at least handles, well for about 20 to 30 laps, and we'll have less than 30 to go in the restart. Handling should not be an issue the rest of the race. Unless somebody gets into me. But everybody is on pit road at once. The final stop of the race. The Jackman is falling on his rear. He still can't get the car up. Oh my gosh. How long is this stop going to take? It took 12 seconds to change the right side tires. 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh my gosh. 21 and a half seconds stop. What is this? 1986? And Paul Menard, I keep forgetting Paul Menard was a lap down too. So we do have to race Paul Menard for the free pass. Green flag's back in the air. Bobby Labonte wins the race off pit road. Coming off the top 5 at Sonoma yesterday. And oh, wow, that was actually a good launch in the restart zone for Blaney. Oh, I got loose. All right. I at least got the 15 car after I got loose. I don't know how I got loose. That was really weird. Car just got light all of a sudden. 25 laps to go. Can we get another caution? No. No. No, not Paul Menard. No. Come on, Jimmy. Push me. No. I honestly thought I was going to get the speed quicker that time. I can't believe how spread apart the top portion of the field all got. All right, we're up to speed now. Kurt's giving us a good push. We're gaining ground back on Paul Menard again. Gosh, we've got to clear him here. I was so close to clearing him. Oh, he's up against the wall. Stack him up. Please. Give me my lap back. I hope Bobby Labonte wins this race. That'd be pretty cool. 43 car back in victory lane at Daytona. I kind of don't care about anybody passing me and drafting behind him at this point. I'm so worried about just beating Paul Menard. I'm not going to catch up to the leaders. We'll contact with Truex. We're good. That caution was our 4th yellow of the race. All very spaced out in this one. Definitely had our fair share of long green flag runs. It is kind of strange, though. It does feel like the car was way looser than it used to be. I almost wonder if that damage from Jimmy Johnson was only repairable to a certain extent when he hit us after I came out of the pits the last time. It's the only thing I could think of, because I didn't make any adjustments that go around. Bobby Labonte still leads after initially restarting in the lead here in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. I believe that restart came with about 26 to go. We have 21 laps left at the line. 20, excuse me, to go at the line. We had 26, so we had exactly 25 laps to go when we restarted. Come on, Bobby. And he came in 10th in the chase points right now, or the race to make the chase. So Bobby Labonte is looking good. If he can win this race today, he might even move up higher than 10th in points. I think Martin Truex Jr. has probably worked with me better than any other driver today. Denny Hamlin for a very brief moment, but I feel like Truex were probably similar on speed to one another. So I don't really lose him in the draft much. And before he was running the bottom, now he's running the top. Wish he would get back to the bottom. I don't think he's going to. Truex hit the wall. I lifted getting into the corner there. Hit a big drive off speed. We're on equal tires as the leaders. The 1 and the 22 are catching up to the 2 of Kurt Busch. Didn't want to get underneath Truex that time. Truex pops it off the wall. I lifted to try to let him go. Hopefully get a run back on him again at the end of the front stretch. That ain't happening. I'm not even going to get frustrated anymore. I mean, we have less than 20 laps to go. I'm going to need a caution anyway. We've had 2 yellows. I just, unfortunately, was not in the free pass position or anywhere close to it. Position-wise, I was within 1 or 2 positions, but there also isn't hardly anybody a lap down, so it's kind of hard to say that it meant we were close. The only time we were close, that second yellow at lap 76. Just because we didn't know exactly at that point if anybody else was a lap down. Come to find out they weren't. Alright, well, we worked with Denny for a brief moment. We'll see if we can get this pairing going back again with the 11 and the 22. No stack-ups behind us yet that have caused an incident since the restart. We haven't really seen a stack-up off turn 4 that's caused a caution. It'll separate the pack behind us a little bit, but that's about it. Season worst, despite not DNFing. Need correct grammar there. Yeah, don't want to DNF. It could get worse. Well, I guess it really can't get worse. I DNF right here. I don't think anybody else can make up enough laps to beat us in the finishing position, so I could just park it if I really wanted to, but we're not going to give up. I'm holding on hope that we get a caution, get the free pass. Even if we get the free pass, I don't know that we're passing anybody, but maybe they get a stack up off turn 4. Like we've had well, we got a caution, but you can thank Mark Martin for that. Stayed in the throttle, was able to steer out of it. I didn't do anything wrong there. That was all Mark Martin. He got tight, clipped the left rear. The problem is I caused the incident, so I don't know that I'm going to get the free pass. Because I know by NASCAR rule, if you're involved in the incident as the first car lap down, nobody gets it. And this is going to set up yet another restart. I'd gotten clipped a couple times real early in the race. That was like the first moments in which I was struggling for grip after getting into the back of the 147. I think Vickers clipped me in the left rear once, and somebody else might have too. But it hadn't caused a caution until just then. And that was definitely as far sideways as I have gotten off of that. He clipped me cleanly. I didn't hit the wall to kind of straighten the car back out. It just kind of hooked me to the left. Well, it has us at the tail end of the field. I think it gave us the free pass anyway. These tires are scorched after that slide, though. Green flag's back in the air for Labonte. Still 12 laps to go as we're back to racing at Daytona. Paul Menard at the very front of the field, still trying to unlap himself then. As the caution came back out. Not the way I would have hoped it was going to happen. I don't know that I'm getting any positions anyway from it. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Elliott Sadler are now racing with Dave Blaney, or not Dave Blaney, sorry, with Bobby Labonte. So Labonte had a good restart before that, not this time around. I hope they're 3 wide, and we have the massive one on the front stretch. There's a stack up of some sort, but it wasn't at the very front of the field. We're catching up to the back of the pack with a head of steam down towards turn 1. I don't know if we're going to get to him, though. Man, we were so far behind him that we might not get to him. Wow. Yeah, these tires are scorched. The car's damaged. I can't believe they slowed up off turn 4 like that, and I still couldn't keep up. Sadler does lead as he tries to go for a win here at Daytona. He, too, coming off a top 5 yesterday at Sonoma. Much like with Bobby Labonte. Bobby's still got to be up there, though. I'm still pulling for you. Oh, man. More contact with these cars at the tail end of the field. We're going for it now. We got nothing to lose. Down on the apron at Daytona. I'm sorry. We're up to 26th. Now we catch another caution. We bunch the field up again. 10 to go. Wow. We're up in 26th now. It's still our worst finish of the season, but do you believe in miracles? It took us till 12 laps to go to get back on the lead lap. I don't know that I'm going to be able to... Oh, there's some smoke from that lead pack up here, too. They're way too far ahead, though. There's zero chance. I mean, this group backed up 2 times. I'll stay with Tony Raines, though. We might get a caution before the end of this thing. We might get our 6th yellow. Definitely nowhere near the 21 cautions. Tony Raines is running the bottom through the corner. It allowed for Blaney to stay with him at least a little bit. $26 better than 36. Yes, it is. Especially for the point side of it. I'm not going to look to pass Tony Raines here. I'm going to try to draft away from the pack. Raines just hit the wall. I didn't check up, though. He kind of kept his momentum up for the most part. Still at 191 miles an hour. 11.4 seconds off the lead. We're definitely not catching anybody else unless somebody blows a motor. Like I said, I'll still sit and draft. I said I'd hold on hope. We've held on hope this far. I'm thanking Mark Martin for causing the incident that got us the free pass. Tony Raines was running the bottom. The minute I bump draft him on the back straightaway, he wants to run up against the wall. I think he scraped the wall a little bit. That's actually going to keep me with him. I don't think he's going to pull us. If he pulls me after scraping the wall off turn 4, that's how you know this car is dead. Well, he didn't pull me yet. He's getting close. No, he didn't pull me. We're still with him. We're good. Like nothing happened. Definitely pulling away from the cars out of the rearview mirror. 6 laps left this time by. Elliott Sadler's led every lap since the restart. He had led at one point earlier in the race. Rains off the wall again. I'm just going to pass him. Baby. Gonna lose him now. I clipped him in the left rear. Keeps mowing that wall down off turn 4. I'm still hoping we get one more caution. Give us another restart. We might get another stack up off turn 4 to gain more positions. I'm blocking. I'm not going to let anybody by me anymore. I couldn't even get by Tony Raines. These tires are cooked. I'm going to block for our life for 27th. Going to bunch the entire field back up again. This holds us in 27th if we get a caution, which is one spot better. And we try to hold on for dear life on a restart. That's the only reason I want to restart. I know I don't have the restart gear in it, and I could actually lose positions with another restart, but I'm hoping that we get one and they stack up off turn 4, and we're in the middle of the pack instead of at the back of the pack this time, and we just try to miss the chaos, essentially. Turn 4 at Sonoma was Calamity Corner. Turn 4 here today, Calamity Corner as well. 133 car riding the wall. Quite literally, off turn 2, he was literally on the wall. Oh my goodness, we got a caution. Who did it? With 4 laps to go here in the Pepsi 400, caution is out. Somebody just looped it off turn 4. That was a hard hit, by the way. Oh, it was at the front of the field. Kurt Busch. Somebody hit him from behind, too. Busch was up in the top, what, probably 5? Top 10? Jarrett collect. I think Bobby Labonte might have gotten a piece of it, too. 3-car incident. And this is going to set up a green-white checker. We only get 1 attempt. No cautions on the white flag lap, so if they wreck off turn 4, come to the checker. Nobody's pitting here, I don't believe. Yeah, well within the fuel window. Had a couple of cautions since 29 to go, and the yellow flag waved, and even at that point, everybody was a handful of laps to the good on fuel. Green flag back in the air. Here we go. 2 laps. Might be able to get Tony Raines back. That was a big block. A lot of contact. We're not going to be able to keep up with these guys in front of us. That killed us. That's all right. Up to 25th. Somebody's out of the race, too. I wonder if it's Kurt Busch. '25th. So match our Daytona 500 finish, which is, again, our worst of the season up to this point. There'll be another lead lap finish. Oh, there's a little smoke off turn 4. They're stacking up, but I think we're nowhere close to them. How did we fall 5.6 seconds off of the lead in one lap? Well, we got the stack up. I just couldn't keep up with them. The caution got me 2 more positions. Assuming that we hold on. Maybe they wreck again. I think we're too far back, though, because we wouldn't have the full front stretch to try to get around anyone. They didn't stack up that time. Checkered flag waves. Elliott Sadler is going to win the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. And this is the first win of the season for that 38 car, as he will become the 6th different winner this season. Great season continues for Elliott Sadler. "56 laps led." He led a lot more laps than I thought. He actually led the most. Good win for Sadler. Max points day at Daytona. That's tough to do. Dale Earnhardt Jr. led 2 laps in the late going, and he ends up finishing 2nd after starting 32nd. Tony Stewart finishes 3rd, Jimmy Johnson 4th. Denny Hamlin 5th, Bobby Labonte in 6th. Kevin Harvick 7th, Jamie McMurray 8th, Dale Jarrett 9th, Mark Truex Jr. rounds out the top 10. Yeah, good day for Elliott Sadler. He deserved the win. 22 laps led for Kevin Harvick. He led quite a few as well. 25 laps led for Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon came from a lap down to 15th. That's impressive. He was a lap down. He would have gotten the free pass. Was it during the caution with 29? Yeah. So we restarted with 25 laps to go, and in 25 laps, he went from 36th to 15th. A couple cautions in there. So really, he only had about 19 green flag laps to go from 36th to 15th. That was pretty impressive. That's something I wish I could have done. Started on the pole, so he obviously had speed from the rip. But yeah, something happened that he ended up losing a lot of time. So it gave us 1 lap lead, but I don't think we actually led. So I'll take the free 5 bonus points, but we didn't actually lead a lap in this race. So that will be the 3rd race this season we will not have led. 23 laps led for Kurt Busch as well. So Busch did finish, but he pitted after he had spun and cracked the wall pretty hard off turn 4. Which brought out our 6th and final caution of the day there with 4 laps to go. Set up the green-white checker. 2 races in a row, we have a green-white checker. 3 of the last 4 races we've gone to overtime with a green-white checker. Pocono, we went caution-free at Michigan. Then Sonoma with the 21 caution fest and Kurt Busch. And I really wasn't the reason for any of those yellows. So the only one I could have been was Pocono, but Harvick definitely cleaned us out there. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking still. That was 3 races ago. It still mind boggles me that happened. As far as DNFs today, Brian Vickers, Sterling Marlin, Matt Kenseth, Scott Riggs, Greg Biffle. We saw him blow an engine. E. McGee. It's kind of fun to say. Paul Menard ended up a lap down. But it looks like in total we had 6 DNFs. And 36 cars finished on the lead lap. 10th of a second margin of victory. 2 hours, 46 minutes, and 12 seconds total time on a race today. Average speed of 144.4 miles per hour. Now, Greg Biffle was 2nd in points, so with him DNFing, we're still going to have a pretty solid points lead. So believe it or not, we're not going to lose anything. And Friday night at Chicagoland, we will go racing in the Cup Series again on this game. We will have a better run than we did tonight, I promise. Unless I DNF. We haven't ran Chicagoland with Dave Blaney either, so, maybe we have not top 10 speed like we did at Texas on a 1.5 miles. Maybe we have decent speed like at Charlotte, where we have like a top 5, top 10 car, but not a race winning car. We'll just have to wait and see. It'll be tough to have the fastest car in the field, I will say that. Yeah, 408. What was the lead coming into the day? Lead was 366, so with Biffle DNFing and us getting all those spots in the final dozen laps, finishing 25th, we actually do gain points despite having our tie for the worst finish of the season. It tanks the average finish, though. I had a 3.6 average finish through the first 17 races. 16 before tonight. After 17, it's going to dip. It's probably going to be above 5 now, if I had to guess. Which is still solid, but it's going to drop like probably a position and a half. 3.6 average, and it was down to a 25th place finish today. Man, Daytona's killed me twice this season. Earlier, it was me trying too hard. Today, it was just a product of being at the back of the pack at the start of the race and wrong place at the wrong time. But that's what you get when you're back with the squirrels, as they would say. Kevin Harvick gets quite a few points back. Dale Jr. obviously finishing second, got quite a few points back on us, but they're still quite a ways back. We're still looking at clinching plenty early before the chase. We clinch the number 1 seed. That means we'll just simulate the final couple races before the chase because we're not actually racing for anything at that point. Because we would have the number 1 seed locked up. There's no playoff points for winning a race like there is nowadays. So we are 2 races ahead of Biffle as of right now. So again, 9 races left until the chase. Bobby Labonte finishing 6th is up to 9th in points. Man, if he could have won, he'd probably still be 9th even if he had won. Granted, though, Elliott Sadler won. I don't know where he was running before that. Big win for Sadler. I mean, look at the gap he's got. He's got over 100 points now ahead of the cut line. That was a massive win for Elliott Sadler tonight. Matt Kenseth is first driver out. Look at the defending champions outside. Kenseth, Johnson, Kurt Busch. I mean, you got future champions in there with Truex and Kyle Busch, but I'm not going to count those. But yeah, I mean, you got 3 former champions outside the chase. Now, granted, Jimmy Johnson, this was the first year he won the championship in 06, so I guess technically you can't consider him a former champion quite yet. Jeff Green's still 13th. He's hanging on. He's almost a full race back of Tony Stewart. Yeah, Daytona definitely separated the points a lot because really from like 6th or 7th through 12th was ridiculously tight like 2 races ago, and now it's almost a 200-point difference between those spots. It was within 100. All right. Yep, that's going to finish up tonight's stream. We'll have Modified Series racing tomorrow. Back with the Cup Series on Friday at Chicago. Thanks for watching, everybody. We had quite a few people tuning in for this one, probably expecting a good race. It was probably good at the front of the field, but we were not at the front of the field. Unfortunately, we were nowhere near the top 10. It's fun to kind of battle when you don't have the fastest car, but we didn't really have much battling going on today, unfortunately, being a lap down almost the entire race. I mean, we were a lap down from lap 20-something to 12 to go. And luckily, we got a couple of cautions there in the final dozen laps, got the free pass. Kurt Busch incident got us 2 more positions on that final restart, and then obviously the restart before that, a couple of stack-ups off turn 4, we went from 36 to 26th at that time, then fell to 27th before the Busch yellow. But yep, all in all, not a good night, but a better result than what I was expecting there down the home stretch. That's why you got to hold on hope. You know, that's not exactly what I was hoping for, but it was still better than what we had going for us for most of the night, so I'll take it. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you tomorrow.